It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associate Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum, Eric Wood. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to another season of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. In a new, state-of-the-art Shatkin Sports Network studio, I'm Rich Gaenzler, joined by my co-host Jared Shatkin. We're going to have Eric Wood on the show today. The Mafia will join us as well. We'll break down the Ravens game, but we'll start with talking about this past week's Dolphin game as we talk around the water cooler. All right, Jared, listen. 21-19, 2-point loss. Everybody talked about the heat. Was there anything good to come out of those conditions for the Bills in that game, in your opinion?
I believe that a loss is kind of going to be better for us in the long run, because if you're looking at a team that's going to be 13, 14-0 late in the season, I always feel like those teams have pressure and they play down to their opponent. They're trying to kind of win by a couple points, but instead we get a loss out of the way early. And maybe it takes the pressure off the team, and maybe it starts our run. I remember last year I went on the show and I said after Tampa Bay, this could be our Super Bowl run, and it almost did happen. So I kind of think that's how it's going to be.
The thing I liked about the heat and the injuries, was, of course, was another big part of that game, was the fact that guys got to play that might not have played. I mean, you saw a significant impact from the guys, obviously, that had to start in the secondary, but also guys on the offensive side. Gilliam had a great game. Morris was fantastic. Moss has a big run in the game, and you saw Cook have a bunch of big plays in the game. So talk a little bit about that and the contribution of guys that maybe we didn't think we were going to see contribute in that game.
Right. I mean, you start on the defense, and the defense was the talk all week about how Miami has this explosive offense, and then they come in and only have 212 yards. So you got to give a lot of credit to the guys in the back end, and mostly Leslie Frazier for scheming up just an awesome game. And then on offense, I think Gilliam has been stepping up a lot more this year than any other year. He had that big touchdown versus the Titans and a couple big catches in this game. And then, Zach Moss, I think he's been a little bit of a pleasant surprise so far, because it almost seemed like he was off a roster spot, and he's starting to make some big plays. He made a couple in the Titans game, and I mean, it's not like he's getting too many opportunities. We're throwing the ball 62 times a game. But the running backs out of the backfield are playing really well. And I think James Cook is a guy to watch in the future of this season, because if he can be a substantial player on this team, I think it can take our team to the next level offensively.
Pretty remarkable that Josh Allen was able to put up the numbers and the offense was able to put up the numbers with very little contribution from Diggs, Davis, and Knox. That was pretty incredible that he was able to do what they did. And Josh was 80% of the offense with his throws, his runs, and the number of times he was hit or sacked in the game. 80% of the Bills' offense. I'm okay with that. How about you? I mean, he's arguably the best player on their team, maybe one of the top 5 or 7 players in the league. Why not have him have it 80% of the game?
No, you're right. He should touch the ball every snap, which he obviously will, and he should be involved in a ton of our plays. I would like us maybe for him not to be the leading rusher. I don't want him to run for 47 yards and Singletary run for 15, 16. I'd like Singletary to get in the game more and for us to establish a run a little bit more. I think throwing the ball 63 times, I don't think that's extremely sustainable. I know now offenses are looking at more of a passing offense, and it seems like the league is moving more towards that. But I just think he was exhausted at the end of the game, and it showed.
I think they lost the game because they left too many points on the field. They left, by anybody's count, 24 to 27 points on the field, right? In terms of possession screw-ups, in terms of the one hop that Josh threw, the Milano drop, the Davis drop, the missed field goal. You have another thought on why they lost this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the red zone offense was pretty much the number one reason why they lost this game. I think when you're not, so Bass misses that field goal, right? We're usually having 3 points there. We're in the red zone, and whenever, it's been automatic for the last 2 seasons that we score when we're in the red zone. I mean, we're outgaining the team by 300 yards, so the only thing you can really look at is points that we didn't have, like exactly what you were saying. I think they definitely got tired at the end of the game. I think the weather played a factor, but you always have to give the other team credit. Football is a game of inches. It's a close game every week, and the Dolphins came up on top. I don't think it's going to happen again, but they came up on top this time.
I'll tell you what, and to your point, the Dolphin defense had to be on the field the same number of plays as the Bills offense. And you didn't see those guys cramping up or running off the field or having to take IVs. I get it. The Bills were on the Sun field, and a lot of that's been talked about. But the Dolphins, you have to give them a lot of credit for playing as hard as they did in that situation without them being able to really come off the field, and the Bills really dominating in every drive they played in.
Right. I don't think Buffalo wants to make an excuse either about that. I don't think if you watch the guys after the game, they're trying to say that the weather was a huge factor. I mean, they're cramping up, and it is different when you're in Buffalo and you practice in this type of climate than a climate in Miami. But we're talking about football. I mean, football's a tough game, so you got to find a way to win. And I don't think weather should be a factor.
Yeah, tough through it, sure, for sure. All right, we're going to take a break. Jared, thanks, man. Coming up next, Eric Wood, Bills radio analyst, of course, now an author, if you didn't know, podcaster, former Bill Pro Bowl center. He's going to join us next as we continue with more the Shatkin Buffalo pregame show right after this.
I am so happy with my experience that I had at I Smile Spas today. Got my teeth professionally whitened. I have months of results in less than an hour. No pain, seriously, not even a sting. They're not sensitive. You leave with a kit to continue your whitening. Absolutely incredible. I'm so happy I ever did this. I can't stop smiling.
Western New York. Smile again with confidence. Call 43-SMILE today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
Okay, Russ, start by reading the first line, please.
S-T-E-A-K.
Okay, the next line?
Chops. C-H-O-P-S.
Are you reading the right chart?
Of course I am. I'm not blind.
How about the last line?
Printed in Taiwan.
No, the line above that.
Where would you like to have dinner tonight?
Russell's, of course!
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. I'm joined by radio analyst, podcaster, author, damn good golfer, husband, dad, all-around great guy, one of the favorites of Buffalo. My good friend Eric Wood joins us here on the show. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Appreciate that intro, brother. I need to invite you more places.
Hey, man, anytime, anytime. The book's over your right shoulder. Real quick, give that a plug if you would.
Yeah, I just wrote a book. It's called Tackle What's Next. The foreword's actually by Sean McDermott. In case you don't want to read my writing, you could read some of his writing. Basically, it's a book about telling the story about my career ending, and then essentially the lessons I've learned through transitioning out, a lot of which come from my podcast, What's Next with Eric Wood, hence the Tackle What's Next. But these lessons that I've learned, that they don't necessarily just apply to athletes, to veterans. It applies to anybody that simply wants to make their next chapter in life better than their current.
Let's talk about, now you bring up, having played Miami, and that was the big story in this past Sunday's game, the heat in particular. You were there on Sunday. You experienced it firsthand, and obviously you've been on that field in South Florida many, many times and played in hot, humid conditions. What was it like this past Sunday for the guys on the field?
It was hot. It was 90 degrees. It rained the day before. I don't know if it was 100% humidity, but it felt like it. My phone said it felt like 99 or 100. And then you put how hot the field can get, the constant sunlight on the Bills sideline and on the Bills players. And it was tough conditions. I walked from my car to the stadium, and I don't sweat quite like I used to at 310 pounds, but I was soaked by the time I got to the booth. I was uncomfortable in my polo and golf pants. And so that being said, it was hot for those guys. And especially as an offensive lineman, you go into every game hydrated and, carved up and everything, because you could play 90 plays, but generally you don't. Well, this game they did. And, there were so many guys that got wore out. A lot of the injuries impacted what went on the field. If you don't lose Spencer Brown and Ryan Bates, maybe you rotate some offensive linemen. If Jake Kumaro doesn't go down, maybe he can spell out some of those receivers. But because of that, really the receivers in the O-line were dropping like flies. And, the Bills had to burn a timeout based upon trying to avoid a delay game late in the game. But really that allowed Diggs to get some rest and get back on the field. And so, man, it almost became, I try not to do too many Tony Romos because people aren't, I say that, predicting a play, because on the radio, not everybody's watching the game at the same time. So it doesn't have quite the same effect as if I'm pointing out formations. But there was one play where they put in Quentin Morris, and I said, if I was Josh, I would hit Quentin Morris here because he's the only guy that hasn't been in 12 plays on this drive. So yes, the heat was serious yesterday, played a major role in the game. And hopefully come December, I believe 18th, Miami gets a taste of some Buffalo weather.
Let's talk a little bit about, and I know there's been a ton made about, the last play and the offensive coordinator and Dorsey in the booth. And I know you tweeted, I'd play for that guy all day, every day, knowing his competitive nature and what happened in the booth happened. But, if you speak to composure, that's probably not what you want to see. Josh tearing Wilkins' helmet off in the field, probably you don't want what you don't want to see. But how do you balance that, right? You want the composure, but you want the competitiveness. So how do you balance the two?
I want guys, if I'm a coach, I want guys who I constantly have to pull the reins on, and not guys that I'm going to use a horse racing reference because I'm sitting here in Louisville, Kentucky. I want a horse that I have to pull the reins on as opposed to whip. I don't want guys that aren't competitive, that aren't feisty. And you know what? I don't think Josh Allen pulls that helmet off unprovoked. And but we always say it's the second guy who gets caught.
That's right.
It always is the second guy who gets caught in the NFL, even if the camera picks it up. And after the fact, as far as penalties goes, it's the second guy. And yeah, you're exactly right. Throw those hands up, and the other guy's going to get caught. But yeah, you're keeping your composure. And when I tweeted that about Ken Dorsey, I quoted it with the video, or I tweeted it with the video. And I'm referencing the video, and I'm sticking up for him in a sense that, yeah, I would play for that guy. I want him to have some passion. I also understand what type of person he is. I spent a lot of time with Ken on the road. He's a 6 a.m. workout guy like me for the road games. So I see him at the team hotel and all that. He's a guy that I have a ton of respect for, the way he calls plays, the way he prepares. So I'm giving him a little grace early in his tenure where he really wants to prove himself. He's filling in for the coach of an undefeated football team right now in New York, heading into Dallas tonight. We're recording this on a Monday. And so that being said, he's got big shoes to fill. And you know what? I've made stupid mistakes and I've lost my temper plenty because I'm a hyper competitor. And you know what? I'll go to battle with that guy. And that's kind of the context of what I was saying.
Okay, let's move on lastly and talk a little bit about the Ravens. They're red hot. Lamar, you mentioned doing things without a lot of talent. Lamar's got Bateman and Duvernay, and they're not star power Pro Bowlers. Maybe they have the potential someday. Yes, they have Mark Andrews, maybe the best tight end in football. I know Kelsey's obviously out there too, but Andrews, I think, led the league, if I'm not mistaken, in catches for a tight end a year ago. The guy's phenomenal and having a great year. But Lamar is back, and of course, you being a Louisville guy, you can't root against you, or you can't root for him this week coming up, my man.
No, I won't be. I'll take a shootout win by Josh Allen and the Bills. And the only reason I say that and not fully root against him is because I want him to get paid. I think he's earned it of that quarterback class. I just feel like Josh has been paid, and now it's time for Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray drafted the draft after him, has already been paid. And I know Lamar's camp wants guarantees and this and that, and I get all that. I just worry that something would happen, and it's almost like a big brother. I used to train with those guys when I was in the offseason when Lamar was there. And so almost like a big brother, I care about him, and I want him to get paid and not get hurt. But even so, I still think even with an injury, he's proven to be such a great pocket passer now too. Now, I just get a kick out of how everyone assumed, well, he doesn't have a contract. He's not going to be running the ball as much this year. In the past 2 games, he's thrown for 3 touchdowns and rushed for 100 in each of them. And so to me, I love that he's still playing free and playing his brand of football. I always feel like teams play Lamar a little bit better the second time because you understand truly how fast he is. I mean, he will be, I don't want to speak out of turn, but likely the best athlete on the field. Speed, agility, athletic, like overall athleticism. You know, you think of a Diggs, a McKenzie, those guys are super athletes as well. And so kind of like that, but he's carrying the ball. He has the potential to carry the ball every single play. And now he's developed into a really good passer as well. So extremely dangerous. You just think with some of these young guys that they'll have in the secondary who may have not seen him before, have not played against him, maybe you take the wrong angle the first time.
It should be a great game, and we'll look forward to your radio call this Sunday. Eric Wood, radio analyst, podcaster. He's got the book right behind him, Tackle What's Next. He's got the What's Next podcast. He's everywhere. He's got to stay busy, and he always does. He's a great friend. We thank him for being on the show once again. Eric, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother.
I see patients every day that are in constant pain. They're unable to chew, they're unable to smile. With mini dental implants, I'm able to give them a new set of teeth that they can chew with, they can smile with, and finally be out of pain.
I got mini dental implants. It changed my life because it made me feel like me.
I really like the fact that, you can be you again, only better.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us for a free consultation.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. We got the Mafia gathered, including a very special guest to my left, Sam Castronova, first team All-League Arena football quarterback from the Albany Empire. Great stat from your playing in the league there, and congratulations on all your success. We bring you in for your expertise in the pocket.
Yeah.
The Bills have to defend Lamar Jackson. Obviously, they've played him a couple of times in really significant games over the past couple of years, and he started out fast in the pass and run game. Last two games, 100 yards rushing, each of them. He's passed well as well with multiple touchdown passes. What do you do if you're defending Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I think Leslie's put together a pretty good game plan in the pass for him. He's playing lights out the first three games, but if we can just push the pocket back and set the edge on him and just try and keep him in the pocket, that's our best bet. But he's playing really well, so we're going to need a little maybe help from Mother Nature this week. But I think Leslie, like I said, Coach Frazier's done a good job so far.
Excellent. Let's bring in the rest of the Mafia. Jared returns for this segment. Tom Fitzpatrick. We have Bob Helwig as well, joining us as well as members of the Mafia. Bob, I'll start with you. Any confidence lost after this road loss, 2 points to Miami? I thought everybody thought going in, the Bills, despite injuries, were still going to win. They were the better team. And on paper, in the end, they were the better team, but not on the scoreboard. Where's your confidence level?
Yeah, they're fine. They'll get back some of the injured players. I think it's really good to have the backups play down the road. It's a long season, so the more experience that they have in these couple of games early in the year, the Bills will get back on track. Miami's got to come back to Buffalo, so I'm not worried about the team at all.
I'm going to go to Jared for this one. Jared, a lot was made about composure with the Ken Dorsey explosion after the game, and even Josh ripping off Wilkins' helmet in the game. What do you make of all of that? Are you okay with that? If you're a player, if you're a coach, I know that the fans have a different angle on that. Certainly they think, oh, it's okay. It's them just being fired up. Right. What's your take on it?
I mean, frustration was definitely mounting that entire game. You're playing in some pretty incredible heat. You know, Josh was struggling a little bit in the red zone. I think he just got frustrated, lost a little bit of composure, and it's something maybe we can learn from the rest of the season. I don't think this game is really an example of how the season's going to go, and I think we still were the better team.
Yeah, Tom, let me ask you about Von Miller. He was absent for all intents and purposes in that game. He had virtually no stat line. I think he had one hurry on Tua in the end zone, and that was it. No tackles, no sacks. no pressures. What'd you make of him being absent against a banged-up Dolphin offensive line? No one's really been talking about that.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Vaughn's part of the Bills organization, believe me. And I think he's got a lot to offer. And I don't think that was the reason that we lost the game.
Sure.
I just think that I know everybody's talking about the Heat, but it was an abnormal game. I think when they come up to Buffalo on December 18th, maybe we should unplug the heated benches. What do you guys think?
That sounds good to me,
I
for
think
sure.
It might be an issue. That's it.
And listen, they left a lot of points on that field in that game. I think I counted at least 27 between field goal attempts. The end of the first half, Bass's missed field goal, Davis's drop, Milano's drop. I mean, you go on and on and on. They left a lot of points on the field. They should have walked off that field winning by 17 plus. They were the better team on the field for sure. Okay. Let's introduce now the trivia segment of the Mafia, guys. This is all Baltimore Raven-related trivia questions for Tino's Dough. Sorrentino's on Main Street again, providing us with some gift certificates, provided you guys get these questions right. If you know the answer, just chime in real quick. Question number 1, here we go. The two teams played in Baltimore in 2018. It was the second worst Bills defeat ever. They lost 47-3. It was Josh Allen's first game in relief of who?
Nathan Peterman.
Very good. All right, ding. Yes. There's one question, right? Well done. Question number 2, 2004. This Hall of Fame cornerback returned a Drew Bledsoe pass 48 yards for a touchdown. Jared?
Deion Sanders.
Prime time. You're 2 for 2. Well done. Last one. Here we go. The Ravens have had 3 coaches in their history. They had, well, obviously John Harbaugh now. Brian Billick preceded him. The 2 of them won Super Bowls. Their first coach did not. Their first coach ever has some Buffalo history. He was the offensive coordinator for the Bills, 89-91. There's 3 Super Bowl teams. He was the Ravens' first coach. Who is he, guys?
Tom Moore?
No. St. Bonaventure grad. No. Legendary offensive mind.
Ted Turner? Ted Cora?
You're there?
Ted, I got him.
Yes! Well done! 3 for 3. Pass him out, boys. There we go.
All right.
Good job. Well done. All right. Tom, Bob, Jared, Sam, guys, thanks. We're going to come back. We're going to look even closer at the Raven game, plus get the injury report when we return on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
Your kitchen is the heart of your home, so make it what you've always wanted.
Empire Granite Marble Quartz has everything you need to start your kitchen countertop makeover, all within your budget. Offering 24 months, 0% financing for a limited time. Empire has the largest indoor full slab showroom in Western New York, so visit the showroom today.
Make your dreams a reality with luxury you can afford.
Marketing Mark here with this week's Bills injury report. Buffalo, we have a problem? This week's list of injured Bills is long, but if anything was proven last week is that Brandon Beane has equipped us with the players that provide us with depth in all positions. This will prove to be a key in the Bills' success and ultimately a Super Bowl victory. Our prayers were answered when cornerback Dane Jackson was released from the hospital this past Monday and was limited in practice on Wednesday. God bless you. Safety Jordan Poyer was also back on the practice field Wednesday, but limited, along with center Mitch Morris, offensive tackle Justin Murray, cornerback Cam Lewis, wide receiver Gabe Davis, tight end Dawson Knox, and defensive tackle Ed Oliver. Everyone's favorite offensive tackle Deion Dawkins did not practice because of an unspecified illness. We need you, big guy. Get well soon. The other Bills that did not practice Wednesday were Jordan Phillips with a hammy, Ryan Bates with a concussion, Christian Benford with a hand injury, and Jake Kumerow with his ankle injury. Go to BuffaloBills.com today for all game day decisions.
There's your injury report. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler, Jared Shatkin, and time to talk about the Bills and the Ravens, my friend. Obviously, this is a game. Bills, again on the road, have to rebound from a tough, exhausting loss against a team that's on the rise. And the Ravens, who were injured and banged up a year ago, and for that reason, very disappointing. This year, it looks like they maybe should have been a year ago.
Yeah, right. They're starting to play some really good football, and Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball from the pocket exceptionally well. It kind of looks like the MVP Lamar Jackson year. He's got 243 rushing yards and a couple rushing touchdowns, and he's got 10 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions in 3 weeks. So he's playing some awesome football, and the Bills are going to have to be ready for that.
The crazy thing about Lamar Jackson is that his 2 long runs, one of 79, I think the other one was around 45, something like that, were designed runs. They weren't scrambles. They were designed runs. So they are building him into the playbook and into the game plan in terms of him running and using his legs. Let's talk now about his pass game. He's been very effective, and Mark Andrews is his guy.
Yeah, Mark Andrews is absolutely his guy. It has been since that MVP season as well, but this year it seems like they're taking it to a different level. But you also have to watch out for those speedy receivers on the outside now. They got Rashad Bateman, who's coming up playing awesome football, and then Duvernay, who's been playing great football as well. He's also a menace on special teams. So they have some weapons now that we have to watch out for, and it's not just Mark Andrews.
And Dobbins, of course, is back and is slowly getting healthier for them as well in the run game. He's still yet to achieve what a lot of people think he's going to eventually in the league, healthy. Switching it over to the Bills, in my opinion, the Bills' offensive stars have to be that in this game because the Ravens have been exploited big time by both the Patriots and the Dolphins wideouts.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This is where we got to make some headway. We have to have Stephon Diggs have a huge game, and Gabe Davis has to be fully healthy this game, which I hope he is. That ankle injury seemed to hinder him a little last game. But we're going to have to make some big plays because if we want to keep up with this offense, we're also going to have to score a good amount of points, and it might be tough in this weather.
So it sounds like you're predicting a shootout.
I think I am predicting a shootout. I think maybe on a lesser scale if the weather ends up being what we think it's going to be, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson really ever gets stifled on offense, unless it's a hurricane in Buffalo and it's a winter storm or whatever playing the Patriots. It just seems like those two guys always rise to the occasion.
All right, well, let's get a score prediction from you. That'll get mine, and then we'll close it out and get ready for the game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Bills pull it out at the end. I'm going to predict 27-23.
27-23. I'm close. I'm going 26-24. So 2 points, 4-point differential. It's going to be a tight game either way at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. That's going to do it. Got to thank Dr. Todd Shatkin, of course, Russell's, the Aesthetic Associates, Shatkin Dental Health, and our friends at iSmile Spas as well for helping the show get back on air at our brand new, shiny Shatkin Sports Network studios. Thanks, Jared, to you. Thanks to Sam, the members of the Mafia, and our crew as well. And thanks to you for watching. Go Bills, back next week for another edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
If you would like to be a participant in the Shatkin First Down Huddle, email Mark Aarons at maarons@shatkinfirst.com. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.